down at Crawford John, so we're going to head down towards Sanka and along to the bottom of the Mennock Pass, up the Mennock Pass and then up the radar station. One of our favourite climbs, isn't it? Oh, my favourite. We do it every year because it takes us a year to forget how bad it was the last year.
In mid-August 2024, Stu, Nick and I got the road bikes out and drove south to Crawford John for our annual pilgrimage to the road cycling mecca of the radar station above Mennock Head. This is affectionately known locally as the Big Golf Ball. Our route for the day was to be a 35-mile anti-clockwise loop which included the main climbs of the Mennock Pass, the Lowther Hills radar station climb and a short one at the end which is called Lettershaw's climb on Strava but is known locally as the Apache. Weather-wise it was a wee bit chilly for August and we realised as soon as we set off that we would have a pretty significant headwind as we cycled southwest and down to Sanka. This is a nice wee road with a decent surface, some pretty views rolling through the hills and you actually lose about 500 feet of altitude on your way south. It had been the Sanka Gala Day the day before and the main street was looking very pretty with all the bunting up and lots of planters of flowers. If you're enjoying this video, please smash the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. We're leaving the village, it's a fairly flat couple of miles heading east to the bottom of the Mennock Pass. Being creatures of habit, we always stop to get a picture taken here, usually grab a gel or something to eat and think about clothing levels for the climb.
We've got a 6-mile climb up to Mennock Head, the highest village in Scotland. And then up to the radar station which is way above it. Oh no, what are we doing? Ah well, what we do it. Yeah, better get some clothes off I think.
The Mennock Pass climb is over 6 miles long and whilst it's listed as being an average of 3%, there are some sections where it hits 13%. Thankfully we had a wee bit of a tailwind, but a lot of the time we were sheltered from it, as you're basically surrounded by hills on the climb. This area has always been popular with people panning for gold in the Mennock water, and we saw a few prospectors on the day trying their luck. There is a lead mining museum in the village which runs taster courses, and quite recently gold from the area was used to decorate the Scottish Parliamentary mace. We were overtaken by a group of over 30 bikers from Northern Ireland who made the climb look effortless. This is the first time I've cycled up here with the heather looking so colourful. It really was a vibrant purple colour and so pretty to look at. Stu was climbing pretty well on the day and stayed away from me on this one, which I think might have been down to his heavier granny gear and stronger legs, obviously due to all the running he's been doing recently.
There we go, start at the radar station. 2.5 miles of paint. I think we're at 2.3 or something. Have a good one, Stu. Good luck. That's the first sighting.
This is the first real ramp of the climb. It comes after 3/4 of a mile and hits a maximum gradient of 15%. It's only around 150 yards long, but that's certainly long enough to get your heart rate up, and it got Stu out of the saddle, although I don't blame him with a race prepared 39-29 granny gear. After this ramp the gradient eases off and stays below 3% for about half a mile. If you're looking to set a good time for the climb, I would recommend not going too hard at the start and then pushing on in this section. Following this flat section is the second ramp of the climb, which is about 1/3 of a mile long and hits 16%, and this one hurts. Just to compound our enjoyment on the day, we had a fairly strong southwesterly headwind here. One good thing about the wind was that there were no midges on the day. Apparently you have to travel at 4 miles an hour to stay away from them, so at this point we would definitely have been lunch.
So, I guess words to words of talk. It's pretty much confirms what I've tried to forget.
Mennock Head is officially the highest village in Scotland. This is where the radar station climb starts, with the big golf ball 870 feet higher still.
Oh, Stu's going well.
There are some pretty tight and steep hairpin-like bends towards the top, which I tend to give a rather wide berth. After a very short respite, you're into the sting in the tail. The top of this climb is undoubtedly the hardest part. The gradient remains about 7% for 3/4 of a mile, much of that is above 10%, and the maximum gradient is a quad strangling 18%.
Join us too. No, really?
In the past I've found that the golf ball can be a bit of an optical illusion. If you don't know the climb, it can feel like you're getting close to it, and then you turn a corner and it appears to be much further away again. I don't know if any of you agree, but I would be interested to hear any comments on this and on what you guys think of the climb. Thankfully on the day we weren't trying to break any PBs, it was just too windy and our fitness isn't there to challenge our previous best efforts. Unfortunately it was also too windy to confidently get the drone up, which was a shame. Just for information, my best time up the climb is 18 minutes 23 seconds and I did that in August 2020, and Stu's is 22 minutes 32 seconds and he did that in July 2022, although this is only Stu's third time climbing it. I do have the 53rd fastest time descending the climb at 4 minutes 34 seconds, but it was far too windy to try to challenge that on the day. The descent was actually pretty sketchy because of the wind, and my 50mm wheels didn't help matters. You also have to remember that service vehicles can use this road, and you have to keep an eye out for the sheep, and to be honest, the road surface isn't in the best condition now. You don't notice the surface conditions so much on the way up, probably because you're blowing out your arse and going so slowly, but it did concern me a little on the descent. When you come off the restricted road, you turn right, up a short incline, and then you have a fantastic quick descent into the village of Lead Hills. We dropped into the village and stopped at a little store for a coffee, a sausage roll and some chocolate as a reward for our efforts. The route from here back to Crawford John gave us a nice long descent out the village, and as I said earlier, back over the short Apache climb. We had a great wee pedal and some challenging windy conditions. The climbs aren't really that hard if you're just summiting them, but if you're looking to get a good time, especially at the radar station, then it is really tough. And right by the numbers, we covered 35 miles with 2,800 feet of climb. Thanks for watching.